Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Lindgren. After months of preparations, the New York Department of Corrections is set to close the Southport Correctional Facility tomorrow. Big Fox's Matt Kleindens spoke with residents about the potential community impact of the prison's closing.
Good evening, Jennifer. Back in November, Southport housed 405 employees and 286 inmates. Tomorrow, the prison will close, impacting lives beyond those who worked at the facility.
We never expected it.
After a 4-month drawdown, the Southport Correctional Facility will close its doors after 3 decades of operation. The facility provided jobs for hundreds of residents throughout the community, many of whom will be leaving the area.
I do currently have a son that had to relocate to a different facility.
Cynthia Ellis says her son was relocated after working 11 years at the prison. Ellis says he was transferred to 5 Points Prison, which is about an hour's drive from Southport.
What's hard is he has children and he just bought a different home last year.
I met Ellis at Champion Sports Grill in Southport. The restaurant served as a popular hangout spot for many correctional officers at the facility.
They come here for lunches and during their training, and we deliver, over there for the past 9 years.
Kelly Burt says she's gotten to know many officers from the Southport prison over the years. She expects the prison's closure to have a financial impact at the restaurant.
It was a really good lunch crowd that we had, often during the summer. And, just the deliveries that we did over there for them definitely will take a little bit of a loss for sure.
The announcement of the closure drew widespread condemnation from politicians at the county and state level. The Department of Corrections says they are working to transfer inmates to new facilities and said no layoffs were expected as a result of closing Southport. Matt Kleindens, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
New York's annual burn ban will take effect on March 16th. The Department of Environmental Conservation says open burning of bushes and debris will be prohibited in order to reduce the risk of wildfires. The DEC says the annual burn ban has helped limit the number of wildfires in New York since 2009. The ban will run until May 14th. Despite Russia's claim that it is not targeting civilians during its invasion of Ukraine, more and more innocent people are being killed. Lauren Blanchard tells us the latest target was a children's hospital.
The race to get civilians to safety growing more dire by the day and hour.
Why? Why is this happening to us? Why do we have to become homeless?
Russian troops have encircled the city of Mariupol, largely cutting off the residents, many desperate to leave but left without food, water, and medical supplies. Moscow continues to promise Ukrainian civilians will be able to safely evacuate, but repeatedly, Russian troops have fired on those fleeing.
We have a short window of time at the moment for evacuations. Even if there is a ceasefire right now, there is a high risk of shells falling at any moment.
Vice President Kamala Harris visiting Poland and later Romania to get a first-hand look at the humanitarian crisis. Ukraine's president imploring the U.S. and Poland to figure out how to transfer badly needed fighter jets.
This is not ping pong. This is about human lives. We ask once again, solve it faster. Do not shift the responsibility. Send us planes.
In the 2 weeks since the invasion began, thousands of civilians and soldiers are believed to have been killed. The capital, Kyiv, on edge as the violence moves closer. Those who remain say they are prepared to fight.
Our people are stopping tanks with their bodies because they're not afraid of it. We are not afraid. We are not afraid.
Whether to send fighter jets to an American airbase is expected to come up when Vice President Harris meets with Polish leaders. For now, the U.S. is saying it is too close to direct involvement.
According to AAA, the average gas price per gallon in Chemung County is $4.38. That is 5 cents lower than the state average. National gas prices are hitting all-time highs. It's currently at $4.25. The spike is expected to increase as the cost of crude oil continues to rise, combined with a ban on Russian oil announced yesterday in response to the country's invasion of Ukraine. The White House announces the return of 2 American citizens who were wrongfully detained in Venezuela. Gustavo Cardenas and Jorge Fernandez returning home to their families after enduring time in a Venezuelan prison for unjust reasons. Cardenas has been in prison since 2017 and was part of the so-called Citgo Six, a subsidiary of Venezuela's state-owned oil giant, and Fernandez was released after being detained last year. The release of these two Americans comes as the Venezuelan government seemingly works to improve relations with the United States with hopes of loosening sanctions. The Biden administration announces Americans can order more free at-home COVID rapid tests from the government. Those who ordered 4 rapid tests in January can now order an additional 4 tests. The White House expects delivery times to be faster due to a larger stockpile of the rapid tests. At-home COVID tests can be ordered online at covidtests.gov. Now to the high-stakes legislation in Florida, heading to the governor's desk. Critics call it the Don't Say Gay bill. Victor Oquendo has more on what it would mean for teachers in the classroom.
This morning, the Parental Rights in Education bill, which has gained national attention, sparking statewide protests and student walkouts, heading to the desk of Governor Ron DeSantis, who's expected to sign it into law.
We're going to make sure that parents are able to send their kid to kindergarten without having some of this stuff injected into their school curriculum.
The legislation, dubbed the Don't Say Gay bill by critics, bans lessons in sexual orientation or gender identity in kindergarten through the 3rd grade and any instruction that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with state standards. The bill, which does not define what is age appropriate, would allow parents to sue school districts or teachers if they believe the policy is being violated. Supporters argue the bill is not about targeting particular students, but empowering parents.
All it does is state what is age, talks about what's appropriate in the classroom to teach.
LGBTQ plus community advocates warn this will prevent teachers and schools from helping the 52% of LGBTQ youth enrolled in middle or high school who reported being bullied in the last year, and the 42% who reported seriously considering suicide.
You have bills like this that is now preventing teachers from being able to express and share and be able to console students who might bring these type of issues to school.
Your complete forecast is coming up. Stay with us.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
I'm meteorologist Cassie Clavin. Thanks so much for tuning in. We are going to see snow. That's going to continue tonight, gradually clearing out, and then we'll be quiet. Just seeing some clouds to the end of the work week, that is, all before more snow is expected to return as we head into the day on Saturday. So let's track out these snow showers overnight. Very light, very isolated, if any. We'll just see some clouds here and there, and those too gradually clearing out as we head into tomorrow afternoon into the evening. Then Thursday night into early Friday morning, things look to be generally quiet. We'll see a little bit more cloud cover for the day on Friday before more snow. That's going to start to move in late Friday into early on Saturday morning. Forecast for tonight, cooling down to 26 degrees. Isolated snow showers of fairly calm winds, about 2 to 3 miles per hour. Taking a look at the temperatures that we're going to be waking up to on Thursday morning, will be in the 20s, 25 degrees in Bath. Seeing some clouds here and there, nothing too significant as far as cloud cover or even any significant weather for the next few days. For the high temperature on Thursday, we'll be heating up to see temperatures in the 40s, partly cloudy skies. A fairly calm wind is expected. These temperatures just slightly warmer than average for this time year as we take a closer look at some of these temps. We're going to hit this high temperature later on in the afternoon. It looks about 3 p.m. is where our temperatures are going to be topping out. Westfield sitting at 45 degrees on Thursday, Bath sitting at 45, Wayland sitting at 42 for a high temperature. Then as we head into Friday morning, we are going to see our temperatures drop down into the 20s, a little bit warmer than average for this time of year. Some clouds, there'll be passing clouds in general. And then Friday afternoon, our temperatures are going to heat up to above average. We're going to start to see that cloud cover really begin to build in on Friday. Looks to be a nice day though, all before that snow is expected to move into the area. We're going to see that snow for the day on Saturday. Fairly light snow is expected. With that, our temperatures dropping down to 31 degrees. Then overnight, Saturday into Sunday, dropping down to temps in the teens. We'll be in the 30s once again for Sunday, but we are expecting partly cloudy skies, so we will see some of that sunshine. And then our temperatures will be rebounding for Monday, back into the 40s, and then heading into next week, temps in the 40s, but chances of precip.
According to military officials, linking a veteran's previous exposure to toxic chemicals while in service to current health problems is a complicated process. But as Gary Baumgarten learns, President Biden is promising faster and broader action to help former service men and women get the medical treatments they deserve.
Danger is imminent for the men and women in our armed forces, but threats to their safety come in more forms than weapons, with military members facing health risks due to exposure to harmful chemicals during their time in the service, especially if they were stationed near burn pits, large areas used to torch military waste, including hazardous plastics, medical materials, jet fuel, and more.
In 2005, I served a 12-month deployment in Taji, Iraq. Nearly every day of those 12 months, I woke up coughing and blowing black matter out of my nose.
According to the group Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, more than 80% of post-9/11 veterans who served in those two countries say they had contact with toxic waste from burn pits. President Biden is now promising to help veterans suffering complications get better access to medical care and federal benefits quicker.
We've increased funding for VA research to study the health effects of toxic exposure in the military. We're speeding up the process to identify and address adverse impacts of military-related environmental exposure.
The Department of Veterans Affairs could also be changing its policies to identify 9 respiratory conditions as being linked to a veteran's time in the military, making available to them health coverage and compensation for those issues.
2 years of very low rain and snowfall are causing extreme drought across several western states with no end in sight. Rob Dawson has more on just how perilous the conditions are.
Serious drought conditions continue plaguing much of the western United States, with at least 74% of the Northwest now experiencing critical water shortages, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And climatologists in California, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington say spring forecasts don't look promising.
We're at roughly 63% of average, barring any unforeseen miracle March, which we don't actually see coming. We'll end this year below average.
Officials at NOAA agree, calculating as much as 200% above normal rainfall levels are needed in the next 2 months to eliminate drought, with dramatically low water levels posing severe concerns for farmers and wildlife heading into the spring, while creating tinderbox conditions for wildfires to start as early as May in states like Oregon. Federal agencies in California say farmers in the central part of the state will receive little to no water from local reservoirs, forcing growers to rely on rain that just doesn't want to fall.
Anything that gets the ground wet, we'll take it.
With forecasters saying previous rain and snowfall throughout the winter have only created a false sense of security.
Ground's muddy and everything like that. But, that's just the very surface soil, and that does not really indicate necessarily the condition of the moisture in the rest of the landscape.
The CDC also warns that relentless dry spells can cause health complications by lowering air quality levels and increasing the risk for waterborne diseases.
Inflation. It's a word we've all heard more than we want to. Many Americans are penny pinching as the cost of food has gone up, and now it's costing more for truckers to ship it. Ashley Soriano has the rundown about the high diesel prices truckers are paying and how the average person at home will be affected.
As of Tuesday, Sonar, a fuel tracking company, reported the average diesel price these truck drivers are paying at the pump as $4.77 a gallon, the highest we've seen since 2008, and we're on track to break all-time records. Industry experts say it will only get worse before it gets better.
Anything that goes on a truck, from shipping and logistics, is going to see the pain.
72% of goods in the U.S. are shipped by truck. That includes the food we get from grocery stores, the heating oil we get to heat our homes, and everything in between.
The cost of anything shipped via truck is going to go up dramatically, as this cost is certainly going to get passed along to grocery stores, hardware stores, everyone.
The cost has already been passed along to Robert Hall. He co-owns Great American Pizza and Subs in Golden Valley, Arizona.
And we love our truckers because they bring us goodies. You know, without trucks moving everything around the country, you're going to be missing out on a lot of stuff. If you're wearing it, eating it, you're looking at it, a truck brought it to you.
Now Hall is paying more to get his food delivered and may have to raise the price for customers.
The truckers going up and the gas going up and everything, people are going to feel the crunch. If they don't feel it right now, it's coming.
The less supply of diesel paired with higher demand means higher prices. At the beginning of the year, truck drivers were paying on average $3.60 a gallon for diesel. Now the Nevada Trucking Association says that's up to $4.77 a gallon.
When you see fuel prices go up, our folks either end up increasing their rates, increasing the fuel surcharge, which that cost of that fuel is passed directly on to that customer.
In Las Vegas, they're paying on average $4.81 a gallon for diesel. In San Francisco, $5.88. In New York, $5.07. And in Atlanta, $4.72.
Diesel's the fuel of the U.S. economy, the fuel of commerce. There's just no way that I see diesel demand slowing down.
Diesel demand is already higher in winter, and today the U.S. announced legislation to ban the import of Russian oil and other energy products. All of that will just push prices up even further.
Fuel prices may be rising, but don't think switching to electric cars will save you. Analysts say the prices for electric vehicles will rise for similar reasons to increasing gas prices. Russia is the world's third largest producer of nickel, a key metal used in electric vehicle batteries. Prices have more than tripled since the last week of February, which will make EVs either hard to come by or more expensive. Plant lovers might be breathing clean air, even in their homes, according to a new study. According to new research from a British university, everyday houseplants can greatly decrease indoor pollution. Scientists tested 3 different types of plants: peace lily, fern arum, and corn plant, leaving them in a test chamber, they say, over an hour period. The plants were able to eliminate 20% of nitrogen dioxide, which is a common pollutant. Researchers still aren't certain how houseplants can do this and have plans to continue studying it. Night shift workers may be at risk of losing more than just a regular sleeping schedule, according to new research. The study published by the Journal of Occupational and Environmental Medicine revealed night shifts can cause memory loss and other brain function issues. Researchers analyzed more than 18,000 participants, testing their decision-making abilities and impulse control. Results showed nighttime workers scored lower than others. It also says it can affect alertness levels and visual focus. Other studies say these shifts can have other health complications, such as heart disease and diabetes. We want to leave you with a smile. A colossal porcupine peeps its head out for kids to see. The San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance and Jim Henson's Creature Shop teamed up to create Percy, a ginormous 2-story tall, prehensile-tailed porcupine. Percy has a mechanical mouth, jaws, and eyes with huge striped quills and a nose roughly the size of a small car. Percy stays tucked inside a log but can peek her head out to greet visitors. Percy will live at the San Diego Zoo. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here next time.